make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up.
Welcome back to another episode of Lone Star College Football. Tonight we are talking about Baylor versus Long Island. Now, before we get into it, just want to go ahead and remind y'all to like, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead and drop a score prediction in the comments for us. Right now we don't have a spread, so it's nothing really to base that off of. But just go ahead, drop a comment what you think the score is going to be, what you want to see out of Baylor. If you want to see our offense be a little bit more explosive, which I think that we should. Do you want to see our defense get more turnovers? Again, I think that we should. But yeah, let's jump right into this. So we're playing against Long Island. They are also 0-2 with a loss to Ohio, the University of Ohio, and Bryant. Both of those, they scored 10 points while giving up 27 to Ohio and 21 to Bryant. Don't know anything about Bryant. University of Ohio is not even close to being the number one team in the state of Ohio. But let's just jump right into some of their stats. Their quarterback, that is who we think is going to be starting, because they have a little bit of a three-headed monster, quote unquote, in their quarterback room. But number one guy so far has been Stanzani, is how I'm going to assume you say his name. 25 of 41, 204 yards, one touchdown, three interceptions. He's also leading the team in carries with 14 carries for 68 yards. Now, one of those I want to say was like a 40-something yard run, but what I will say is that we do struggle so far against mobile quarterbacks. We struggled a lot against TJ Finley whenever it was third down. We couldn't get off the field because we couldn't contain him. Late in the game last week against Utah, we couldn't stop Nate Johnson whenever he had the ball in his hands either. But then they have their number one receiver, the only one over 100 yards, has 9 catches, 131 yards, one touchdown. This guy is 5'10", 171 pounds. Quarterback is 5'11", 185. So they're not going to be as big as us as you would assume. We have a couple of receivers. Our top receivers are Hal Presley, Keyshawn Jackson, and Drake Dabney at tight end, and all those guys are 6'3" and taller. Looking at Baylor so far, our quarterback for this weekend will be Sawyer Robertson once again. So far on the year, he is 18 and 40 for 331 yards and 3 interceptions. Now, first interception, I will defend him a little bit. Last week was his first career start and also the first time he's taken snaps from under center. He played against Texas State in the fourth quarter, but we kept him in shotgun that way to kind of help him feel better about it. First pick he threw was a drop, in my opinion, on Monterey Baldwin. Last week he had one where it looked like Josh Cameron kind of stopped his route because he might have saw a safety come down and cover it, so he might have just stopped his route. But it could have been a miscue on Sawyer at the same time. So that one's kind of tough. Now the second one I think is on Sawyer. I think he probably should have just took the sack instead of giving them the ball, because if he would have took the sack, lost 8 to 10 yards, we could have just punted the ball and put our defense in a little bit better position. Dominic Richardson has been taking pretty much all the carries so far this year. He's got 30 carries for 156 yards, no touchdowns, but he's averaging right over 5 yards per carry, so you can't be mad at that. Now, most people are going to be asking what's going on with Richard Reese. Why isn't he getting as many carries? And I'm right there with you. I don't know what's going on, but I know whenever I am watching our run game, Dominic Richardson just has a way of fighting for the yards. I mean, he's got speed. It's not Richard Reese speed, but he just has a different way of carrying the ball to where he's going to initiate the contact, kind of like how you saw Bijan Robinson did last year. Now, I'm not comparing them to, I'm just giving an example. But he's going to be the one to make the hit. You're not going to hit him more than likely. So I like that he's a very strong runner. We have 3 receivers that are over 100 yards and a fourth one that is right at 99 yards. Our leading receivers so far are Hal Presley, 8 carries, 156 yards. Keyshawn Jackson, 8 carries, 138 receptions, 139 yards. And Drake Dabney was 7 for 136, and then we also have Jonah Burton with 6 for 99. So I'm really liking Hal Presley. I love that he's starting to have a little bit more of a breakout year after what we saw against Texas Tech last year, which he had an amazing game. Keyshawn Jackson is doing what we thought that he would do with his long and skinny frame. I mean, he's just going up, getting the one-on-one balls like he should. Hal Presley doing the same thing. Both of them are making amazing catches. Keyshawn Jackson should have a touchdown on his uh, stats right there at the end of that Utah game, or at least we should have got a flag. I'm not going to blame that on the refs. I mean, yes, should we have had an opportunity to win the game? Yeah. Did that lose us the game? No. We shouldn't have been in that opportunity, in that situation in the first place. Drake Dabney had a really good game last week against Utah. Um, Felt really good about that. Jonah Burton's been playing really well this season so far. I'm liking him, and I've started hearing stuff later into fall camp that he was battling with Monterey Baldwin for that receiver 3 spot, and so far it looks like he took it from Monterey. Now Monterey has 2 catches, 47 yards, 0 touchdowns. The only receiving touchdowns we have so far are Drake Dabney. Sawyer Robertson almost had one against Texas State, but Drake Dabney just kind of overthrew him a little bit on that trick play we had. Richard Reese, we can go ahead and talk about him. 14 carries for 35 yards, which coming off of last year, you hate to see it. I mean, he's averaging 7 carries a game right now. A guy that was Big 12 Freshman of the Year, who everybody that I talked to thought that he would be running back 1 in all Big 12. So I would like to know what's going on with that. I know that for some reason, nobody that has access to the media time with Dave Aranda is really asking about that, which is weird to me because that would be my first question. Sawyer Robertson, 8 carries, 33 yards. One of them was for 31 yards. So he's really 7 for 2 with a touchdown that he ran in last week against Utah. Defensively, Matt Jones, Mike Smith stepped up really big last week. I'm excited to see Matt Jones finally take that step that we think that he should have took last year. So really excited to see that. I think that our young DBs played really well against Utah. Now they didn't have a quarterback to throw the Utah receivers the ball, but I feel like as far as coverage went until the second half, it was good. Now defensive play calling, I want to see more pressure on the smaller receivers for Long Island. There was too many times we should have got off the field, but Utah threw a slant that got completed 8 to 12 yards down the field where it should be 6 at the very most. Very most. We're playing 10, 15 yards off the ball on 3rd and 6, and it frustrated me bad. I'm sure it frustrated a lot of y'all as well. But I think that we have a really good chance to come out and get some of these younger guys their first win under their belt. And sometimes that's just what it takes. It's just for these younger guys, these guys that haven't been with Baylor's, the new transfers, the freshmen, the redshirt freshmen, get them their first win under their belt and just see how it takes us. I mean, I don't think that a win here is going to necessarily save Dave Aranda's job, even if that is a question in the office over at Baylor. I know a lot of fans are talking about it. Personally, I think it's more on Grimes at the moment. At the same time, we haven't had a healthy quarterback at all. So it's kind of a in-between right now. Personally, this is a game that we just have to dominate. Both sides of the ball. Easily. Like, we should not even only have, we have to have more than a 2-possession lead going into half. Have to. I don't care if it's 23-0. We need to finish the game. I think for me to be happy with this game, which I'm going to be at, by the way, me and my family are going to be there. I want to win this game by at least 35. If we can hold them scoreless, that'd be great. But at least 35 points for me to be happy. I'm sure the spread's probably going to be somewhere around there whenever it comes out. I'm not exactly sure what to expect right now. Sawyer Robertson, haven't had an update on his ankle injury yet. Blake isn't going to be back until at least at the earliest next week. I mean, I want to say Jarrell Boykins is fully cleared. Garmin Randolph should be back, and I want to say Devin Lemire is out for this week as well. On the defensive side. So we still have some injuries, but regardless, we should be able to take the top off of these guys however we want. We should be able to bully them in the trenches. They have one defensive end that's been playing really well this year. Their leading tackler is a DB who is a senior. I want to say he has 18 total tackles. I want to say O'Neal is that defensive end's name. That he's been playing pretty well so far for the first 2 weeks. I want to see our younger guys on defense play fast, play green, get back to playing green like Dave Aranda always says. I want to see our older guys, our more experienced guys be better leaders. I think Sawyer Robertson did really well in the first half last week until he rolled his ankle, and that's when things started to go down. He was making the right adjustments on the line. Dave Aranda trusted him to throw out some audibles there whenever he saw something that he liked. And if it didn't work, it didn't work. But if it did, great. That's stuff that you want to see. That's a confidence booster. You want to see a young quarterback be able to go in and take control of an offense the way that Sawyer, I feel like, has. I think he's been unlucky as far as the interception side. I want to see Blake Shapen get back next week. I want him to be 100% healthy. At the same time, I think that our running game needs to take a step. I mean, Dominic Richardson's playing great, but I want to see Richard Reese. I want to see Dawson Pendergrass get more than one carry. He's a really good freshman. I want to see Bryson Washington do what everybody said during spring that he was doing, where he was toting the rock and looking like a really solid young guy to come in next year whenever Richardson's gone and take running back 2 behind Richard Reese. Not a whole lot on Long Island right now. Like I said, they have, on offense anyways, they have that quarterback and they have that one receiver that's over 100 yards. In my opinion, this should not be a competition at all. I'm not going to guarantee a win just because we saw what happened with Texas State. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like you have to have a win and it has to be dominant. That way we don't start losing recruits. Maybe we can start telling recruits, hey, man, look, I know that this doesn't look good, but this is what's going on. Okay? Like you can tell them exactly what's happening and how you're fixing it and make sure that happens. Because last thing we want to do, we don't want to lose Jaden Porter and a bunch of the other high 3-stars that we have. Because let's be honest, Baylor's not going to be able to recruit any more 4-stars than Jaden Porter. And there's a handful of guys here and there. But at the same time, it's like we need to start winning games if we even want a shot at a bowl game at this point. Because in my opinion, losing Texas State, that hurt our chances bad. But that's about all I got for y'all. So, like I said, remember to like, comment, subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000. In the comments, like I said, drop score predictions, anything that you want to see out of Baylor. Do you want Dave Aranda out? I know a lot of people are saying that they do. Personally, I think Grimes needs to go before Aranda. Yeah, let us know if you're going to be at the game. I know that T-Rex over on Twitter, I know that a lot of people have a love-hate relationship with him, but I think he's great for Baylor. I think he's great for athletics. I mean, we need fans like him that are willing to take time out of their day to message season ticket holders, have them message him, try to give away tickets to fill up McLean the way that we need it to be. And that way we can get behind our team instead of just kicking them down. So shout out to T-Rex on Twitter, man. Keep doing what you're doing. But yeah, until next time, guys, thanks for rocking with us. Second.